a trip to Utah, you want to stick around to this video. My name is Selena and welcome to my Utah Mighty 5 National Park season. I'm on a mission of exploring solo in a camper van all Mighty 5 national parks of the state of Utah, and fitting some other stops in between, cause why not? So stick to the end of this movie, cause I'm gonna show you all the places you must see in a tight trip like this. And a surprising story when we get to the Backstreet Boys concert in Las Vegas at the end of the trip. We made it to the sign for Arches, and then I get back in the car, I'm like, okay, I'm right here. There's still half an hour drive. Let's continue going to Arches. Once an ancient sea, now a cathedral of stone. It's absolutely unbelievable. Arches has more than 2,000 natural stone arches, the highest concentration in the world, and they're still forming and collapsing today. The red rock here gets its color from iron oxide, rust, that's been staining these rocks from millions of years. These videos definitely do not do justice of the amazing beauty it was to experience this in person. And I felt something I never felt before. Holy cow! Oh my god! Oh my god! It's gorgeous. Alright guys, I guess this is the moment I decide I want to live the van life. Holy shit. Absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. How can nature do this to you? Ow. Wow. The camera does no justice. I watched videos of many YouTubers, and this is absolutely out of this world. Like, please come do this trip. Holy shit, look at this. Wow. So a quick stop in the visitor center to check about our fears, to check if I needed to go first to the camping before the hiking spot. And Janine, you are the most amazing, sweet person, sweet ranger. She reassured me like there's no way like to encounter bears and mountain lions. You might see the tracks, but she said they stay pretty away from the trails where people are. So that put me a little bit more at peace. All right, we're gonna head straight to the Delicate Arch to try and catch the sunset. I'm so excited and so nervous. All right. The first hike we're about to do is to see the Delicate Arch, the most famous natural arch in the world. It's on Utah license plates, postage stamps, and even Olympic medals. And it represents strength, beauty, and endurance. Qualities that Utah wanted to be known for, and qualities that I'm pretty close to be known for too. This is the most popular hike in this park, so whether you plan it for sunrise or sunset, make sure you prepare yourself and you come early. I packed my bag with hiking snacks, plenty of water, and then I got to my electronics with my 360 camera, extra batteries, and the Garmin satellite, which helps me stay safe in these hikes where there's no cell phone connection and have people tracking where I am on the route. You're also able to send an SOS signal if needed. I'm gonna leave the link to the exact equipment I use in the description of this video for you. All right, everyone, we are entering the Delicate Arches trail. There's no cell phone signal, but here's the Garmin. We're ready to go. Let's roll. And you guys will get the view from up in there. Let's do this. This Delicate Arch hike is a 3-mile round trip, and it takes between 45 to 75 minutes to get to the arch depending on your fit level. But I'll add, also depends on the temperatures outside and how you are accustomed to altitude. I'm from flat Florida, and 5,000 feet up in the air I was having a hard time breathing climbing this thing. You gain about 500 to 600 feet of altitude, and in the middle of the beginning of this hike is the hardest part to climb, the slick rock slabs. But after you pass that, it's kind of a steady climb. But once you get to the top, standing here and watching the sun melt behind the delicate arch, I couldn't help but think, every climbing life feels hard when you're in it. You question if it's worth it, if you make it, or if you should just turn around and give up. You even question if the view at the end is worth all this effort, but it does. And it's more beautiful than you could have imagined, because sometimes the hardest paths lead to the most breathtaking views in nature and in life. To climb down from the delicate arch after the sunset is a completely different experience. The trail disappears into pitch black darkness, and every step feels uncertain. Do what I say, don't do what I do, and bring a headlamp. I forgot mine, but sometimes life puts you in the right path anyways. On the way down, I met a guy with a headlamp and we ended up hiking together, and he was a content creator too. And we shared so many inspirational stories together on the way to the car. And then it was time to face my next fear, getting to the campsite at pitch black dark. For all my female travelers out there, I strongly recommend you always try to make to your campsite during daylight so you can scout the area. I got to my campsite, and since people think at this late no one would come, someone had taken my paid spot. Luckily, they were awake and we had a nice conversation, and they just came and moved their cars out and I could move my van in. When I'm in paid camp spots and I feel safe, especially inside the parks, I love popping the tent upstairs to sleep. But you won't believe what happened. And I swear to God, I just heard a bear, like, and then I heard people coming down the road because there's a restroom down there. Oh my God, am I gonna be able to sleep? All right, let's see. But guys, you can even see the stars from the van here. Absolutely stunning. All right, wish me good luck. After the scare of hearing a bear right beside my bed last night, I was able to sleep and woke up safe, but look how beautiful the area we spent the night was. And I guess it will be a forever mystery of what was making those noises beside my tent last night. I don't want to think about it. Traveling in a camper van or RV makes it all possible. If you follow the channel, you know I preach about this. I don't own one, I rent, and I do these travels solo. And here in Arches, I strongly recommend you get a campsite at Devil's Garden. You can reserve your RV or tent site in the recreation.gov official national park website. And this is perfectly because we're in January and this spot's open 6 months in advance. And as you can see right now, I'm recording this video in the end of December, and already the only next available spot is the end of March. So plan ahead and watch those spots and have your mouse ready to click once the day you want to camp opens up. The next morning, it was time to enjoy a little bit the campsite and get ready for the hikes of the day. Now, I did this in the incorrect order, but since I'm teaching you the best way to do it, you should go visit the Devil's Garden Trail right in the morning after leaving the campsite because it's right next to it. You hike through long sandstone fins that were formed when salt layers pushed up and erosion sculpted the fins and then carved out arches. So I gotta say, those hikes in Florida in the afternoon in the 106 and 10 degrees really helped me prep for this moment, because it's freaking 3:30 in the afternoon right now. Peak of the heat today, but the dry heat so much more tolerable than Florida heat. All right, let's see which trail we're taking. Landscape Arch. This is the star of the show here. The Landscape Arch has a span of 306 feet, one of the longest natural rock spans in North America. Yo, I found a deer. Oh dear. Let's keep on going. And keep our eyes open. Right open. And go making some noise. Whoop whoop! I think that's gonna be my hiking solo noise. Whoop whoop! We made it, and I'm exhausted. Oh, look how beautiful. The Landscape Arch is so thin, just 11 feet at its center, and in 1991, a huge chunk actually fell. They say it could collapse any day, so if you ever visit arches, make sure you come see this wonder while it still stands. Getting ready for the climb. Man, this is really hot, y'all. But doable, still doable. Let's go. This is no joke. I found a nice rock to sit on and have a little energy snack. Banana with dark chocolate. Really good. Let me show you all this view.
In there for about 2.5 hours this morning. If I have my timing right, I'll head to the parking lot right at 11:30 a.m. With that in mind, I want to make sure everybody has plenty of water with them. Yes?
Yes.
I should also ask, has anybody broken their ankle in the past couple of days? No?
Not planning on it either.
Not planning on it. Okay. Any dislocated shoulders? It's going to be a full body activity in there in the fire furnace today. I don't say that to scare anybody. I just say that as a reality of the situation that we're getting into.
Now, don't let this scare you. This is serious, but this turned out to be one of my favorite experiences and a must-do for you inside Arches National Park. This brings me back to when I was a kid and I loved to get lost in the trampoline parks and climb and go through those challenges. This is what that is. And this is Fiery Furnace, everyone.
Welcome to the Sandy Wash and the official entrance of the Fiery Furnace, in my opinion.
I cannot recommend enough that you take this hike with a guided ranger tour. You need to reserve those way in advance in the National Park's website. And for this, it is critical because number one, there is no clear path in this hike. And the ranger took us to some very unique and secret places you're about to see that basically no one else would be able to get to, and most importantly, get out of it. But also, I learned about so many things I never heard before. The cryptobiotic soil was one of them, and then the fascinating explanation about soundscapes. If you want to dive into the details of this episode, go back to episode 3, Arches in One Day, and you can see this entire hike in details. How cool. Thank you for sharing.
Yes, of course. Excited.
were introduced to the crawl-through arch, and guess who volunteered to test its name? Hole had the exact shape of a body. I'm a 5'5", and that was the perfect size for me. Well, perfect size minus my girls at the top. I had to readjust a little bit to make it through. Our ranger was absolutely fantastic. Not only he was very knowledgeable and taught us all about important information to this park, but also he created experiences for us to discuss more about what we're learning.
Water bear. Have you heard of those?
A water bear?
Yeah.
Okay, you're just bringing my level of anxiety, another level
no,
up.
They're not going to hurt you. No. Isn't he cute? They are microscopic creatures, though they're not quite this big. Really tiny things, but they're the most resilient creatures.
After almost having a heart attack about water bears, I learned that this tiny creatures is what grows here in the water, and it could survive the vacuum of outer space. Isn't that so cool? After learning about water bears is the most exciting part of this hike, and quite nervous a little bit. You go through the crevices of these rocks, passing through such tight slots that we had to remove our backpacks and we could barely fit through.
Here's where you regret what you ate for dinner last night. Right here.
And here's where I realized that all those trampoline and adventure parks I did when I was a kid prepared me for this moment. This was such a cool hike to do. I cannot recommend enough that you come for this fun. It was all different levels of challenges, and we learned so much, not only about the parks, the natures, the animals, the formations, but also I learned some new skills for hiking. The fiery furnace takes about 2.5 hours to 3 hours to complete. They issue 75 self-guidance permits a day and 28 for lucky peoples like me to go with amazing rangers, explore this place, and feel safe. This is the absolute perfect experience for a solo female traveler to explore here in Arches and feel good while doing so. About 100 people per day go in this hike. Next learning of the day, have you heard of a juniper tree? This was the favorite one from our ranger, and he told us it can live from 200 to 1,000 years. And it's known for doing self-amputation, and that's how this tree survived here in the desert. I even got to name an arch the Hand Love Sign Arch. Then our ranger took us to his favorite secret spot. And what a perfect name, the Surprise Arch.
So I do first thank you all for coming out. However, I do think it is beautiful, that concept of soundscape ecology, because it includes us as humans as part of that landscape. You know, we are not something separate from this wilderness. We are not just passive observers. We are active contributors. And I think that is really important. It means we can do something about it, even on these small scales. Do something about minimizing that impact on both the landscape and the soundscape.
I can't believe we've done all of this in one amazing day here in Arches, but stick with me because we still have one more memorable place to go. I can definitely say there's no quite experience like this. A guided tour with a ranger, all this adventure and different scrambling in between the rocks and going through those lots. And what a great opportunity to make some new friends and new followers. Hi Carolyn and MK. Now, if you don't have in you to do this hike, still definitely come to this spot because there is a viewpoint that is to die for. What a view! What was this hike in the fiery furnace? Absolutely amazing. For me, that's playground for adults. That was my Disneyland right there. I am absolute starving, so now it's time to cook with a view. Take a look at this. With this view and some nice roasted potatoes, bell peppers, sausage, scrambled eggs, of course make it cheesy, some avocado. So let's enjoy and just take in the view. I can't repeat this enough in this channel. This is one of my favorite things about traveling this style in a camper van because I just finished that tiring 2 to 3 hour hike. So I came back to the van, made some nice, better than Starbucks, iced coffee that y'all watch me making, and now breakfast. What an inspirational place to be. I gotta say, this has been the most transformative experience I had through nature. These formations, this energy, this information and knowledge gained, this experience has all transformed me. And I gotta say, Arches is one of my favorite stops of this Mighty 5 trip. But there's still one last stop that will drop all our jaws. Most arches in the park were carved by water running along the sides of sandstone fence, but Double Arch is unique. It was formed by water eroding from below, creating two massive openings that share the same foundation. It's nature's version of a cathedral, open, grand, and peaceful. The larger opening towers 112 feet high. That's about a 10-story building. The span between the two arches stretches 144 feet, and standing beneath gives you this incredible sense of scale, like you've stepped into a natural amphitheater. Do not be intimidated by how tall it is. This was a very short hike from the van over to this amazing view. I could even find a van from back in here.
And after you put all the work on a trail, face the obstacle and climb all the way up. Make sure you take a moment to sit down and just enjoy the view. And nope, I'm not talking about real climbs. Keep that in mind. So we're just starting the 5 mighty national parks, and I am absolutely in love with Arches. I gotta say, I really think this is gonna be my favorite, and my favorite spot is just laying here at the top of the Double Arch and just breathing in after all the hikes and all the work with this view. I don't want to leave here. So I gotta say, this order we nailed down because I'm exhausted after the morning hike, the afternoon hike. And this is just so perfect. It's a short hike and you go up on the way there. So on the way back, when you're already exhausted, all your energy It's just a short hike down right to the parking lot. So cannot recommend this order enough. And these three are definitely the main key things you cannot leave this park without seeing.
And even if you come here not to hike every trail, Arches National Park is absolutely worth the drive. Every curve, every viewpoint tells its own story. From red sandstone fens to arches glowing at sunset, it's one of the most beautiful and inspiring drives I've ever done. And a reminder that sometimes the journey itself is the destination. We still had to find a spot to spend the night. And it turns out we went off-roading to find a boondocking spot.
So we're right back at the boondocking situation. It's always a nervous night, but I read a lot of reviews about the area I just pulled in. Oh my god, it is absolutely gorgeous. Let me show you all.
I researched about this location in the app iOverlander, which is a great tool for traveling in a campervan or RVs since you can find boondocking spots, read reviews about people who stayed here, and find other things that you might need with an RV or a campervan.
So this is how boondocking goes. I stopped at the first place, and I don't know, I got very weird vibes about it. And when you get that, you just gotta move along to the next spot. So I researched another campground, really feel a lot better here. So let's take a look.
Here's where I learned about BLM camping. BLM stands for Bureau of Land Management. It's a government agency that takes care of millions of acres of public land across the US, mostly in the western states, and it's known for its dispersed camping, some free and some are paid. I paid $20 for this spa and I scored this amazing sunset view.
BLM camping spot was successful so far. Just got out of a nice shower after all these hikes. Now let's get ready to enjoy some dinner and relax and hopefully see some shooting stars tonight. I also score because I removed the shower bar to have more space, and I realized it fits perfectly in between the cabinet and the notch from the door. So this is an extra measurement of safety. Save the tip.
Next, it was time to bring out the chef in me and cook some dinner.
Quick fix, nachos for dinner tonight, dinner in bed, glass of wine, celebrating a freaking amazing first National Park Day at Arches. And make sure you stay tuned because tomorrow we get to Canyonlands.
After checking off the list all 4 must-do hikes in Arches, today we're finally unlocking park number 2, Canyonlands, with the goal of completing the must-do to-do hikes, Mesa Arch and Upheaval Dome.
Good morning, everyone. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. It's day to get up really early to leave the camp and go watch the sunrise in Canyonlands. Let's do this. So excited for a sunrise. Let's go. Just entered Canyonlands and there's a line of cars behind me to come watch the sunrise. I heard this was a very popular sunrise spot, so making me even more excited. Let's get there. We have just arrived at the trailhead. My legs are like, no more trails. And I'm like, yeah, let's go see the sunrise. It's supposed to be a short one. I think you just go up in there. Of course you have to go up. All right, getting closer. Not really, so there is a little trail to go through. It's absolutely stunning already.
The Mesa Arch is in the district of Islands in the Sky. It's about a little over a half a mile round trip. You start this hike over 6,000 feet of elevation and you just gain about 56 feet up. The hike takes about 7 minutes and it's very popular for sunrise, so plan to arrive at least 30 to 45 minutes before sunrise. And what a sunrise from this spot! I didn't expect this perfect frame to create this ambience for us. Take the time to enjoy the sunrise, and the few minutes after it, everyone flees out, and chances are you have this gorgeous place to yourself. Leave after you watch the sunrise. Go past the arch to the left and there is this cliff. You can sit safely, not too close to the edge, because as you can see, it's a massive drop. But what a mind-blowing view. And check mark on hike must do #1 Mesa Arch. Now let's get to Upheaval Dome. And a shout out to Trent, Julia, and Odelia, some more followers I met on this trip.
I can barely believe the spot we scored at the Upheaval Dome. Look at this. With our private picnic area and all. This is gonna be great for after the hike. And trash bins right by it. Perfect.
I always save my recycling trash and regular trash for the opportunities I find both. So this was a perfect time to unload. This season hikes were a real challenge. I came on peak of summer and some trails had caution signs for being over 100 degrees and not recommended for this heat.
Hey. Hello.
It was also my first time doing hikes alone in areas where you could encounter dangerous animals like black bears and mountain lions. And making noise while you hike is key to push these animals away. It also felt a little awkward to me to learn what are the sounds I make on these hikes, and I guess hey, hello were some of them. And I'm curious to know what are some of yours in the comments below. Let me know. The Upheaval Dome is one of Canyonlands' biggest mysteries. A place that even scientists cannot fully agree on. At the end of this first overlook, you can look down into a massive crater that some say was formed by a meteor impact, and others believe it was created by the Earth itself, slowly pushing upward from deep underground. Either way, what you're about to see looks totally out of this world. I definitely choose to believe a meteor hit and caused this. What about you? Let me know in the comments below. The theory has it that a massive meteor struck here roughly 60 million years ago, leaving a crater nearly 3 miles wide and 1,000 feet deep. Shocked quartz, tiny crystals formed only under the intense pressure of an impact. And that's what has been found here, giving this theory the upper hand today. This hike is steep, so here are some facts that you need to prepare for. This hike is also located in the Islands of the Sky side of the park. It's about a little over half a mile round trip for the first overlook, and you start at almost 6,000 feet of altitude, gaining another 115 feet. It will take you about 30 minutes to get there, observe a little bit, and then come back. You can also extend this hike to the second overlook, or if you're brave enough, do a full rim trail. Whichever you choose to do, just make sure you plan accordingly for the time. Some basics of trails is some of them are really well marked, and in all of the ones I've been doing so far here in Utah are. And if you see a branch crossing the trail, it means like it seems that's a path, but no, it's not. Turn around. And then they try to put around rocks to mark where you need to go. So look at this, how cool. Traveling in a camper van is after coming from a hike, you can take a quick shower, prep some nice food, use the restroom, whatever it is you need, it is right there for you. But what I did not expect was the company I was gonna have for brunch. Hopefully the chipmunks won't come steal my food. Games until one of the chipmunks almost ran away with my almost $1,000 camera. I guess those flying Brazilian flip-flop lessons from my past is what saved my camera. So I came and picked it up and ended lunch for the chipmunks and myself. Oh my god! Brunch with the chipmunks was one of the best wilderness experiences, wild animals I've ever had. They're so cute. I didn't know they were that tiny. They're like half of a squirrel. So adorable. High competition with the javelinas, wine and cheese from last season. Very high on my wild animal encounter list. Now let's drive around and try to hit some of these viewpoints in Canyonlands. We are experiencing today some areas of the park being closed. We are still exploring Island in the Sky and sitting at roughly 6,000 feet. This is the Green River overlook. After the hikes from today, this is a great spot to pause, reflect, and just be impressed by the beauty nature has literally carved in this place. And we made it to the Orange Cliffs overlook, which gets its name from the intense orange glow the cliffs display, especially when the sun is low in the sky. And looks like my besties from brunch were playing around here too. This is so sad. The road to go to the grand overview is closed. So that means we'll have to come back, Utah. Okay. Every overlook out here feels like a pause button for the soul. You stop and suddenly the rush of life quiets down. Each one of them, carved by time, wind, water, remind us that strength isn't built overnight. It's shaped layer by layer through pressure, patience, and persistence. And in standing here, surrounded by millions of years of Earth's history, it's impossible not to reflect on your own journey, the moments that carved you, the storms that shaped you, and the light that still finds its way through the cracks. These overlooks aren't just viewpoints, they're invitations. To look outward, yes, but also inward. To remember how far you've come and to trust that the same force that carved these canyons is shaping you into something extraordinary too. tips about Canyonlands and make sure to subscribe for more inspiration and tips. Duties of the van are almost complete. We just filled with gas and now it's time to fill water. And since I found a nice spot at a Love's gas station, I'm gonna take a nice shower, wash this hair, and not worry about how much water I'm using, because then I can just fill the rest right here before we continue. So let's refresh, refuel, and restart. Shower in the gas station has been accomplished. Now it's time to fill this baby with water. And let me take you with us in that process. So in the gas station, when you fill water, you need to look for this kind of water spigot, I don't know how you pronounce that. Now we are connecting the hose here, and you see how we do it. If you're not familiar with an RV or camper van, I have created a PDF that can help you with all these basic duties you have to do with your rental. And as a first timer, it's always good to go in with some knowledge. Check the QR code I left for you on the screen. That didn't go well. Let's try this again. This is not good. The water is very slowly crawling up because I cannot put full power in there. Indie campers, completely disappointed with this rental. Besides all the issues I had with this camper, they also gave me a hose that doesn't fully connect, the pressure pushes it out. So I have to use very low pressure to try to fill it. This is the worst experience I've ever had renting camper vans. This is season 4, so some experience here, but everything in this camper was not working. Everything was broken and they just turned it to you anyways. I cannot say enough how much I do not recommend that you rent with indie campers. Otherwise you're gonna spend your vacation with a nightmare like this. But let's go, we're gonna make it happen. And this is the hose all the way tight, everyone. If I put a little more pressure, it pops out. Since we're gonna be here for a while, filling water, let's make some lunch. I love buying these ready-to-go salad packages because they become very handy on the road and it's an easy way to eat healthy on the go. Spinach dip salad is ready. And after a long time filling water in this camper, it was time to pack everything up and go. Terrible job, indie campers. And it turned out to be a tortilla salad. Gotta get creative. Let's do this. Tip about gas station in this trip: if you're coming out of Canyonlands like I was, and then you're going towards Capitol Reef or Goblin Valley State Park, don't stop at the first gas station you see. There is Green River, not even 5 minutes after that, and the gas is way cheaper. And then you have water, you have gas, you have everything around here. It's a Love's gas station. Save the tip. After all the troubles have been solved, let's head again to Goblin Valley State Park. I gotta say, Utah is literally blowing my mind. After visiting 2 of the most amazing national parks, I gotta say this state park is a must stop. Today we're landing in one of the most unique places I've ever seen, Goblin Valley State Park. This area is covered by thousands of weird sandstone hoodoos, locally called goblins. The main Valley of the Goblins area, where I'm entering right now, is about 3 square miles of these formations, spread out for you to explore on foot and feel like a kid in an exploration field. Imagine the Jurassic period, 140 to 107 million years ago. This area was on the edge of a shallow inland sea. Tidal deposits of sand, silt and clay sediments were left here, and over millions of years, these distinct layers hardened to become the sandstone, siltstone, and shale layers of the Entrada Sandstone Formation. The Entrada can be seen here and in many areas across southern Utah, including Arches National Park, where the sandstone is even harder. Now the question is, why there are so many goblins here and not in a large concentration anywhere else? While this area was a tidal flat, the area of Arches National Park was dry and covered in sand dunes. The resulting rocks determine the effects of wind and water erosion. The alternating layers of hard sandstone and soft siltstone created goblins here, and the hard sandstone left from ancient sand dunes created the fins and arches in Arches National Park. This was so cool to learn, especially the arches has been one of my favorites so far. I picked the Goblin Valley for this route because it's a little off the beaten track compared to visiting the 5 national parks in 5 days, but this gives so much character to your trip. And for my theme of fitting amazing places into a tight schedule, this is perfect. You can arrive, scramble around these goblins over here, catch a beautiful sunset turning them all golden, and then stay overnight to experience a sky that will literally blow your mind. Stick to the end to see. But what your main goal here in a tight schedule is to explore this hoodoo zone and catch this golden light, turning them into golden goblins. Exploration time in the end of the afternoon. You can spend as much or as little, hike and walk as much or as little as you would like. Again, it's a 3 miles square for you to explore, so you can define how much of it you want to go through. Since I've been so tired of all of these hikes, I just did a little bit of exploration, and that was already absolutely an amazing time. There are plenty of other hikes and activities to explore in this park, so if you do have the time, please do your research and find some of the caverns and other valleys that you can go and explore. But if you, like me, just have this quick stop in between your national parks, make sure you come here, explore this valley number 1. And now let me show you how the campsite of this park is absolutely out of this world. And you have 3 options here. If you're not traveling in a camper van like me, you can definitely come in a car and camp in your own tent. Or if you want to be more on the bougie side, I'm gonna show you the little tents they have for you to come and do one of those glamping experiences. Because I'll tell you, the key experience right here is the night sky and the stargazing experience you can have in this park. So this tent that you see here in my left is one of the 2 yurts they have available for you to rent. They are more of a comfortable stay and they're equipped with amenities like a grill, a heater, electricity, and futons. They also offer 10 walking tent pads for you to put your own tent up and 14 RV spaces in the main campground. They also offer a group site which can accommodate up to 40 people and 10 vehicles. It's pretty surreal for the experience you can have here. And after all the drive around to show you all, it's now time to check it out, our RV campsite. After playing with the goblins, we found our campsite at Goblins Valley State Park. And this is beautiful. Come check it out. The tent campsites in this park are really well set up. They have already a leveled and marked pad for you to put your tent on, and they also have this picnic covered areas. Behind here, you can find some more intricate hiking areas, and there were some people hiking up there when I was sitting down and just enjoying the view. We got the RV campsite number 13, and I gotta tell you, the views were quite impressive, and it was just nice to finally lay down, relax, and I start finding some intriguing formations within these goblins. So tonight was the perfect night to cook a nice dinner. But you know what? I also had a perfect brunch this morning. I'm feeling lazy about cooking dinner today, and I'm just so tired. So I laid in the bed and watched the hills back in here a little bit with some wine and good old popcorn. And now I'm like, let me make a little cheese charcuterie board and wine. So that's the plan for the night. Cheers. And just like that, I end up getting excited and I decided to roast some carrots, ham, and toast, and then some tomatoes, olives, cheese, strawberries, and of course the spinach dip. Now let's go sit outside and enjoy this charcuterie something board plate with some Moscato wine. Let's get this. Ah, amazing how this works on YouTube. All right, let's go enjoy, everyone. So here I am, sitting at this weather-worn picnic table on the red sandstone of Goblin Valley State Park in Utah. A small board of cheese and charcuterie and a glass of wine, and the day quietly surrendering to the night. As the sun slips behind the horizon, I look out across those odd mushroom-shaped goblin hoodoos formed from Entrada sandstone nearly 180 to 140 million years ago, and I feel so small, and yet so wide awake, navigating through my thoughts. The sky above me is nearly untouched by artificial light. This place is certified as an International Dark Sky Association Dark Sky Park, and in 2015, the park's night sky team declared that it has one of the darkest skies nights on Earth. That means in a few minutes, when twilight deepens and the stars begin to bloom, the Milky Way will arch across the sky like a silver ribbon, an astonishing reminder that we live beneath something vast and timeless. I chose this spot because I'm doing 5 national parks in 5 days, fast, fleeting, focused, and yet I wanted one night to just be, just breathe, just watch the sky turn, to be reminded that courage doesn't wait at the edge, it meets you right in the middle of that leap. And now experiencing the most amazing stargazing I never expected to see. I mean, these are the pictures I got of the Milky Way. Can you believe that? And no, this is not the sunrise. This was the moon rising in the middle of the night while I was fast asleep in the tent above the campervan, while my 360 camera captured these amazing images outside. After checking off the list last episode at Goblin Valley State Park, the darkest sky in this planet, today, Insane is also part of our list, checking the Bentonite Hills. And then we're gonna move to our next and third national park stop, Capitol Reef. I think this season and trip I finally figured out the perfect way to do this quick bouncing in between locations. Before I would travel according the day. At night, travel to the next location, sleep, wake up early, enjoy sunrise all the way to the end of the day again. But I was driving at night and getting to these campsites at dark. Not a good idea. This trip, we flipped our schedule. Travel in the afternoon, especially that it was the peak of the heat of the day during summer. Get to the new location before sunset, verify the campsite, enjoy a beautiful sunset hike in the new location. Next morning, catch a sunrise, and check off our list during the day before moving to the next part. We are in that part of the trip that every opportunity to put gas is an opportunity to put gas. So we're stopping here to top it off at the Hollow Mountain. How interesting. Well, we missed our dinosaur adventure in the beginning of the season, but I think this is a pretty unique dino gas station experience. The store is inside one of these little mountains. It's called the Hollow Mountain. Let's go check it out. I definitely expected more from the Hollow Mountain. But let's keep on going because we still need to make it to Bentonite Hills. And just as I was about to leave, I found a water spigot with the hose. So I can fill without issues because this is not the hose that indie campers gave me broken. I feel I keep saying it this season, but Utah, you keep delivering. Driving through these places is just as part of the journey, literally, as getting and exploring the parks. Every time I was going to the next destination, I was just as mind blown by the locations I was driving as I was when getting into the national parks. It's such a gorgeous place and it got me excited and curious. And on the way to the Bentonite Hills, we end up passing the factory butte that you are about to see. So make sure to mark this on your GPS so you can stop to see this intriguing beauty. It looked like something out of the Harry Potter movies. Let me know in the comments below if you're with me. So we just passed the entrance to the Bentonite Hills, and it's all a tiny lane dirt road. So I'm afraid I get into it with the van and then it gets bad and I don't have space to turn the van around and come back. So I think I'm not gonna go all the way there. But you can see some pretty colorful hills from here where I am. So I'm gonna try to take the drone up and show you guys a little bit about the area I'm at. And sometimes, you know, your plans is just like that. Like you have this dream about reaching this destination. And to be honest, the drive here was just as a great activity. Maybe on a next time with a car that I'm sure I'll get there. But this is about being safe. So whenever you don't feel settled about moving forward with something, then you don't move forward with that. And traveling alone is a lot of those decisions. So let's check it up from up there. Formed from Jurassic era volcanic ash that transformed over millions of years into bentonite clay. That clay is what gives the hills their striking bands of reds, purples, browns, and greens, and why this area looks so much like Mars that NASA actually trains here at the nearby Mars Desert Research Station, MTRS. But this beauty is fragile. When bentonite gets wet, it turns slick and sticky like glue, and even a single footprint can leave scars that last for years. So people explore this area only from the road or previously disturbed ground to help preserve for future travelers. I definitely did my part by not stepping in there, and I'm really happy we were able to explore by drone. Reef is a place that somehow still feels like a secret. Most travelers rush to Zion or Bryce, and I don't blame them, but this one rewards the people who slows down. This entire landscape is shaped by a massive geological wrinkle in the Earth's crust called the Water Pocket Fold, a 100-mile-long warp created over 50 million years ago. Imagine the planet bending upward like a giant frozen wave, and everything you see, the canyons, the domes and cliffs, is the result of that ancient shift. The name Capitol Reef comes from two things: the white sandstone domes that look like the US Capitol building, and the steep cliffs that settlers called a reef, because they were as hard to cross as an ocean barrier. Even though the park was experiencing major road closures when I was visiting, I was able to stop at the must-see and must-do stops. So stick with me and take notes of what you must do here at a brief passage like mine and still enjoy catching what Capitol Reef reserves for you.
Exhaustion has definitely caught up to me. I had 2 hikes that I had planned to do here at Capitol Reef, but I'm gonna use the good excuse that there is a massive, very dark rain cloud. So sad I'm not gonna be able to do my hikes. But I really wanted to, because one of them you can cross on top of an arch. So man, Utah, you're definitely making me come back. So we're gonna come visit the visitor center, because I know there is a Scenic drive that they have, like a pamphlet for you to follow with directions and where to stop. So let's see what they got. And this is a massive park, so let's see what we can get to see here today before we head to Bryce.
The visitor centers in the national parks are always worth a visit. They're so educational, they have so much information, plus the rangers are always there to guide you in the circumstances of the day. Like for us, for example, today is rain in the horizon. I didn't have much time to explore this visitor center, so I just took a quick glance around, but make time on your trip. Now let's go see what we can explore.
We learned that unfortunately the Scenic drive is also closed, but she gave me some ideas of what to go and see. And there is a hike that she said it's safe to do with rain, that there's no chance of flash flooding over there, Hickman Bridge. But considering it's a 2-hour hike and I only have 3 hours to explore everything here, we're gonna hit the Scenic drive, go check some points, and next stop, petroglyphs. Let's go check them out. So we just catch a great parking spot at the petroglyphs. We're gonna start doing these walkways. It looks super cool. I'm gonna take you 360 with me to check them out, but check the sky. Hopefully we'll be able to not get on that rain. Let's see.
You cannot leave this park without experiencing this. It is a small boardwalk area that you can walk and experience seeing these carvings that were created between 300 and 1,000 years ago by the Fremont people, who once lived, farmed, and traveled through this very canyon.
My name is Rick Pickavet. My southern Paiute ancestors were roaming and hunting the canyon south of here when white settlers arrived in the 1880s. Long before the Mormon pioneer or any tribal memory, other Native American people came to know the canyons and cliffs of the water pocket flow. We call them the Fremont culture because we don't know what they call themselves. Unlike my own ancestors, the Fremont people did not move with the changing seasons. They took root in these water canyons and became farmers as well as hunter-gatherers. For the most part, the story of the Fremont people can be told only in questions, not answers.
What's incredible is how well these images have survived. Figures with trapezoid-shaped bodies, headdresses, animals, and symbols that still tell stories we're only beginning to understand. Some may represent spiritual beliefs, community events, or even everyday life. Some really look to me like proof that they've seen aliens here before. Let me know what you think in the comments. But standing here, you're literally looking at messages carved into stone centuries of years ago before the US even existed. Isn't that incredible? It's one of those moments where you can feel the history of this place and the presence of the people who came long before us. Because it's time to go and taste the most famous item you can find in the 5 mighty national parks, and it's right here at Capitol Reef. Before I take you with me to the must-stop scenic views and short hikes, let's go. Originally built in 1908 by Calvin Pendleton, this modest farmhouse changed hands over the years, but by 1928, Dewey and Nell Gifford made it home for 4 decades, raising fruit, livestock, and family in this desert oasis. Today, the Gifford House is more than a museum. It's a living piece of history. Inside here, you'll find this beautiful crafted pioneer tools, quilts, and cozy little bakery run by the Capitol Reef Natural History Association. The Gifford House is typically open from March 14th, which guess what? It's Pie Day, through the end of November. The daily hours go from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. with a 45-minute closure from 12 to 12:45 for lunch. You can stop here for handmade items, local gems, very unique trinkets, but the most important stop, of course, is the pies. We got our famous Gifford's House pie. And yo, the smell inside there was absolutely amazing. And the most difficult part of this visit was to choose what flavor of pie to go with. So I ended up going with one of the owner's favorite, which is strawberry rhubarb. Let's try this with this view. Oh my goodness, I'm not a huge fan of pies. I'll eat them, but not like my super go-to thing. This is absolutely delicious, y'all. Pen and paper in hand, my adventures, because this is the spot you cannot miss in Capitol Reef. Right before you get to it, there's this little overlook right here, and you have this amazing view of the road to get there. So stick with me because this is not even halfway to this overlook. Y'all know I have a really Disney brain, so right here for me is if Lion King and Cars Land had a baby. This is exactly where we're at. Now here's where things get real. To get to this overlook, you have to go a little bit off-roading, but don't worry, I am driving a camper van, so I'm pretty sure you with your vehicle can make it here safely too. And this spot is the Goosenecks Point, one of the most dramatic views in all of Capitol Reef. From up here, the Fremont River has carved a deep, winding canyon that twists in tight curves, just like the neck of a goose, where its name came from. What is wild is how long this masterpiece has been in the making. The curves have been shaped over millions of years, as water slowly cut through layers of sandstone, mudstone, and shale, revealing a geography story that goes back more than 200 million years. You can literally see the different eras of the Earth stacked like a giant natural layer cake. The hike to get here is short, just 0.2 miles each way, but don't let the distance fool you. The trail is rocky, exposed, and can be incredibly hot in the summer. So take it slow and bring water. But most importantly, enjoy the view. It is 2 in the afternoon, definitely a long day without eating yet. We are in another entrance of the Capitol Reef National Park. We're gonna stop here, cook some brunch, much more lunch right now, and head to the Scenic Drive Route 12 to Bryce Canyon. All right, so brunch today is at the Capitol Reef Park sign, and we made a delicious, take a look at this. But first, some of the view. We made an Eggs Benedict inspired kind of sandwich on a rosemary sourdough bread from the Salt Lake City Farmers Market. Then I have some spinach dip to create a little creamy layer underneath. Steak, a ham steak, runny eggs, and then some tomatoes. This looks delicious. And for who hasn't eaten properly yet, besides a piece of pie and some cookies, I'm ready to dig in. All right, everyone, right after the gas station, we start Scenic Route 12. Let's go. Welcome to Scenic Byway 12, 124 miles of pure magic stretching between Bryce Canyon and Capitol Reef. It's an official all-American road, which basically means it's not just a road, it's a destination. And honestly, it became one of the most beautiful drives of my entire life. What makes this route so special is that you feel like you're traveling across 5 landscapes at once. Before you get to the so expected dramatic cliffs and high mountain passes, the drive welcomes you with something unexpected, a peaceful stretch of forest. Coming from Capitol Reef, the first thing you notice is how the red desert suddenly transforms into tall pines, cool shade, and winding mountain curves. I was definitely not expecting a mountain view on this drive, and this is absolutely stunning. Take a look. Standing up here, it's wild to think this entire region was once a blank spot on the map, the last uncharted wilderness in the continental US explorers passed through, but the land was so rugged they couldn't stay to survey it. It took John Wesley Powell's team years to finally map these canyons, rivers, and mountains. And now, we get to see it effortless from this very road. And the coolest thing, this is part of your route from one park to the other. And you even find pullouts on the road with information for you to learn, as well as restrooms for you to use. I cannot recommend you do this drive enough. This was absolutely mind-blowing. At minutes, you are driving through a forest and then through a white rocky mountain in a blink of an eye in the middle of the red rocks, and it's just an unbelievable scenic and experience. But even more than that, it surprises you with some of the most amazing stops. This brought me right back into my Disney brain.
This drive turned out to be the best day drive ever. So I totally feel like I'm living a Cars life. Life is a highway. And I stopped in this point view I'm gonna show you. It really looks like it came out of the Cars movie. It's so cool. And they have all the stickers and the side rails over here. So it's time to add our mark.
No wonders why this transferred me right back into Cars Land. I love when I do my research when I edit these episodes for you to find information, and the designers of Cars Land borrowed the look from these layered rock formations in Monument Valley, and we're just a few miles northeast of it. Those artists did it so well that now I'm in the real deal, and instead I'm thinking I'm in the cartoon. Ka-chow, adventures! This part right here, we continue with that feeling of being in a Disney park, and we're literally driving a roller coaster ride. You're not just on a road, you're riding the backbone of a sandstone spine carved over millions of years. Below you, canyons widening into the horizon. On both sides, sheer drop-offs where rivers once carved their way through ancient rock. There are no guardrails here, just you, the asphalt, and the dizzying silence that reminds you how small you are compared to this landscape. This is the wild heart of Utah, and this ridge is the pulse. Its name, the Hogback, a razor-thin ridge, with these canyons dropping dramatically on both sides. It looks terrifying, but it was one of the most amazing and exciting adventures driving this camper van through. Just a little far down this drive is the tiny town of Escalante, and it was a huge history. When Escalante was only 3 years old, it became the departure point of the famous Hole in the Rock expedition. The name comes from a narrow crack in the cliffs that pioneers spent months widening so wagons could descend almost 1,000 feet toward the Colorado River. This area isn't just beautiful. It's a place shaped by bravery, grit, and some of the toughest journeys in the West. Continuing on the road, just as you think you have seen already all the beauty this route has to offer, That's when you continue to get surprised. Those scenic changes just keep coming at you. Now this is another spot you cannot miss in between parks. This secret, we are literally walking through a dragon's ribs. This narrow tunnel carved under Highway 89 isn't a cave or a cave system. It was built simply as a drainage tunnel to redirect canyon water under the road. But time and water turned this ordinary passage into something magical. The constant flow slowly sculptured the sandstone walls into rippling, rib-like arches. Walking through them now, you feel like you're inside a beast. Shadows curve around you. The floor is rough and uneven and very sandy. And this is the literal view of there's a light in the end of the tunnel. This is such a great experience, and it's just a little stroll. In only a few minutes, you can reach the other side. The tunnel itself is about 100 yards, but somehow it feels like a secret passage into another world. You can hear the echo of your footsteps and maybe the sound of dripping water, but a quick heads up. This tunnel is a drainage channel, so if there's any rain in the horizon, skip it. Flash flooding can strike fast, but if not, breathe slow and watch your step, turn on your headlamp, and get ready for an experience that feels more like magic than a road trip stop. Now, if you're like me, you wouldn't want to miss out if there was another next secret tunnel or something even greater to see. So I kept exploring past the tunnel, but I'll savor time and energy. There is nothing after that. So get to the other side, see the light, turn around, and go back. But this visit is definitely worth the experience. Mark this place on your itinerary. This is the Belly of the Dragon.
This Belly of the Dragon was so cool, super short. I could swear I saw videos with other places inside it, but I couldn't find it. There's also a storm coming up, so I didn't think it was gonna be a good idea to stay inside there by myself.
Next in our list is to head to Bryce Canyon National Park. And the drive continuing to Bryce did not disappoint at all. We should get some pizza for tonight at Bryce. Let's go. So right next to the gas station is the pizza place. And I will definitely let you know. I mean, you're gonna have to stay and watch after I eat at the end of the day. But it's super cute place. A nice stop in between a park and another. I like that 7 days without pizza make 1 week. It sure does. All right, everyone, pizza in hands, and we met Grace and Adrian here. Hi. Definitely come visit this place and get some great pizza on your way to Bryce or to, where did I come from? Capitol Reef. See you guys when I eat this pizza. Bye. After having the most amazing drive at Route 12, today we finally make to Bryce Canyon National Park.
We just made it to Bryce Canyon, and I swear to God, the same feeling as when I entered Arches. Look at this. This is so gorgeous. I got excited to do a hike, and I saw this mossy cave. It's a 0.4 mile, so 1 mile both ways. Let's go.
This is not only a must stop here at Bryce, but a must start. It just gives the vibe of what this park is gonna deliver to you, and it's quite a different scenery with all the water and the way you see things over here. Now, what's very interesting, and unlike most of the rest of the park, the water in Moss's Cave Canyon is not a natural stream as you would think. In the late 1800s, early settlers built an irrigation canal from a nearby river to bring water to the arid region. This canal, known as the Tropic Ditch, diverted water through the plateau down into what became the Water Canyon, creating a water flow where none naturally existed.
Let's do the trail. It's only a mile. It's a mile. Very steep. Uphill. Alright, too late to give up now. The views are too pretty. So fortunately, or unfortunately, the path to keep going up is closed for restoration. So this is the last of the view. Let me show you all. What about a waterfall? Absolutely incredible. I just thought about this. This is the perfect example about no matter how tired we are, no matter, like, you can have all the excuses, right? Like I am for real the whole day. I've been feeling really exhausted from the other hikes, hence why I couldn't do much today. But with what the right motivation does to you. As soon as I enter Bryce Canyon, the beauty of it slapped my face. And at that instant, I just wanted to get out of the car and come hike and come see what this was about. So, yeah, when in life you're feeling exhausted and you just don't want to do the things you need to do, just look for the right motivation. Find your Bryce Canyon.
What a stunning way and energy to start this visit at Bryce. And I met one of my followers, Avery. Hi, Avery. Although Bryce is considered compact compared to the other parks, about 56 square miles, the road layout and rugged terrain mean you may need to drive a bit even to go from one viewpoint to another. Because the park is built on a plateau and made up of multiple amazing amphitheaters rather than one continuous canyon, the journey between spots feels more like van life travel than walkable valley. Great to show you what cruising through the park feels like. And this is what Bryce Canyon is known for. a mind-blowing natural amphitheater carved out over millions of years and filled with thousands of towering stone spires called hoodoos. Hoodoos are these tall, skinny rock formations that look like cliffs, castles, even characters frozen in stone, all sculpted by ice, water, and time. From here, at Sunset Point, you can really see them. Layered reds, orange, and creamy limestone rising straight out of the canyon floor. And the best part, you can walk the rim from Sunset Point all the way to Sunrise Point. It's an easy stretch of the rim trail, perfect for soaking in every angle of this amphitheater. And honestly, the best way to see Bryce in 24 hours is exactly this. Arrive here for sunset, rest for the night, wake up early to hit Sunrise Point, and tomorrow morning, we will hike down into these hoodoos, and besides the outwardly experience, something incredible happened in the middle of this hike. Come along, cause I gotta say, that was one of my favorite hikes of this season. We just got to our camping spot at Bryce Canyon, and we're literally in the woods for tonight. Come check it out. The Sunset Campground is right across Sunset Point, so it's a prime location for you to stay at. And you're literally in the middle of the woods.
Dinner tonight is out here at the dark picnic table by the woods. With the pizza we got in town. The artichoke beignet. I'm so intrigued to try this. And some good Malbec wine. Good night, everyone. Leaving the campsite here at Bryce this morning, and it is packed. Not fully packed, but there's a lot of other RVs and camping cars and vans, and we are headed to watch the sunrise.
Something very unique about Bryce is that some of the hikes you can do them in a horseback ride.
Even when the park is not that busy, I mean it is busy, I got the last spot for the sunrise. And of course, I'm last minute to it, so let's rush up there and see what we can catch.
This is the most incredible hike in Bryce Canyon National Park, and you cannot miss this. This is the Navajo Loop, and there are a million ways you can do this hike differently. There are different entrances, different parts in the trail that you can decide to go and make it longer or shorter, and you can do it clockwise or counterclockwise. So stick with me because I'm gonna show you my choices, what I could have done better so you can take that one, and some amazing inspirational lessons that an impromptu encounter provided us. Let's dive in. I decided to start the trail at the Queen's Garden, right at the Sunrise Point. This trail drops about 600 feet from top to bottom and back over roughly a 3-mile loop. But the real drop is in scale. We're entering a natural labyrinth of hoodoos, fins, and cliffs carved by millions of years of water, wind, and ice. And in parts, I even feel like I was walking through castle arches. This hike during sunrise is one of the most incredible things to experience. Seeing the sun painting all the hoodoos layer by layer right from beneath here is something incredible to experience. So definitely include that in your itinerary. This rocky formations is the inspiration for one of the most iconic roller coasters in Disneyland and all Disney parks around the world. Do you know which one I'm talking about just by looking at them now? Yes, it is the Thunder Mountain. And since the Thunder Mountain I saw it first, walking through here feels like I'm exploring walking around the area of the roller coaster, and the twists and turns feels like the same way, just in a walkable version of some sort. The trail winds between spires and cliffs and some pretty high drop-offs right next to your feet. Switchbacks up and down, every turn giving a new frame. I felt like I was going through a video game with different phases, and every part was more surprising than the one before. I felt inspired, peaceful, and in a sort of an adrenaline rush too. Once you get to the bottom and center of this amphitheater, you get to this garden area, hence Queen's Garden Trail. And I swear it felt like I was in the middle of a fairy forest. And if this hike and this place wasn't already enough to make me feel this glowing, magical energy, I always preach that the energy we carry around us attracts the same right back to us. And I could taste that right in the middle of this hike.
Queen's Garden was beautiful.
Yeah. That's the idea of doing it up and down.
Yeah, I'm doing the same but the opposite way. You guys came from that way.
Yeah, but this is harder on going up. Queen's Garden is a bit softer.
Oh man.
Yeah, you come from here, Glasgow. Now you're going against the slope. It'll be fun.
Great. Thanks for the heads up.
So this was too late for me to learn about that, but for you, make sure you start in the opposite direction and finish it up at Queen's Garden because it's a lot softer to go up. You will see at the end of this hike what I had to do to get out of here.
I'm taking my time. This is so beautiful.
That's why.
I think this is one of the most beautiful hikes, trails I've done. And I've done like this insane beautiful trails in Hawaii and hikes. I mean,
Yeah.
different kind
They're
of beauty,
different,
right? Different kind of beauty.
Yeah, those are different. You go
But
up there.
this is like, it's so enjoyable. Every corner is a new
Yeah.
wow.
I
Yeah.
started these last few years as soon as my kids went to college, one at a time, and I go with my son a lot because summer break and this.
So everyone, I'm here in the middle of the hike in between the Navajo loops, and I just meet this most amazing, courageous, and brave woman. I want to introduce her to you all.
Hi, everybody.
We were having an amazing conversation here about how women from different cultures, how we just need to embrace our courage
Definitely.
and
definitely.
come live and come do different experiences. We learn through them. What have been, tell us
Yeah.
really quick, what have been some of your most learnings from this experience, Chito?
I think that, you know what, I'm an engineer, so I was always had books, right?
Yeah.
And when I came from Zion Park, and
Uh-huh.
then when I came here, I cannot believe that how science actually, chemistry work here. This park, I can just like connect my book knowledge and what I saw, and then I just started exploring and kind of taking this challenge is amazing. I didn't know that what I can do, and how much I can do.
Because to get out there, you learn things about yourself you never
Definitely.
did
You gotta
before,
push,
right?
And I stopped listening to the people that what you can do and cannot do, right?
They put
Like,
labels on you.
Yes.
You are women, you are from this culture.
Definitely.
You cannot do this.
Definitely.
You have an accent.
Yeah.
There's so many things we are told, and then you start believing on that.
And then
We need to
every
break
trip-
off from that.
Yeah, every trip I started going and I said, you know what? I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
and my kids are my big support, you know.
Yeah,
They always say that, Mom, you should never look back and do what you, because when there was responsibility and work needed to be done, you did that. Now live your life
Now
for
live your
you
life.
and explore. And that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I love history, and I kind of go
Explore.
and explore and,
Yeah.
and do things, and I kind of love science and engineering, and absolutely everything connects. Nature connects with everything. So all these women out there, you know, you all should do what you want to do. Everything is possible if you want. And connect.
Yes.
You can connect with the people. Look at that, what you know.
Do you see how I tell you all how when you're putting the right energy out there, you cross with the right people? And this trip has been nothing but that. So I hope I'm inspiring you all to get out there, get out of your box of fear, and just go explore little by little, and you discover courage in you. You never knew you had it. Right,
Yes.
Nicole?
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Oh my God. Okay, bye, girls.
Chito, it was amazing to hear your story, and it makes me emotional to think the goal when I left for these travels, it was to connect with other women like me, other solo travelers, other women alike. And since day one when I met Rachel in that farm, from the van tour episode, Chito here in this park, and other females I crossed paths with in the middle of my hikes, I never felt so alive, so connected, so overflowing this energy that I'm getting from these parks. I became absolutely addicted to explore the United States national parks. And if you are also a solo female still afraid to get out there, don't be. Face that fear. Take the steps. You don't know what you're gonna encounter in the hike. Let it surprise you. And by the way, I'm not talking specifically about a hike, you got me. I really hope I can help you transform your life with experiences like this too.
Could I please ask you to take a picture for me?
Sure.
Thank you.
And this is for those of you who always ask me the silly question, how do you get the pictures by yourself when you travel solo? Talk to people, ask people. Sometimes this is how you get to know others, and I always offer to take a picture back for them.
Want to?
So I chose to climb up at the Two Bridges Trail, but if you go a little further, you're gonna take the path to Wall Street. And up in here, don't miss this little secret peekaboo. And after finishing one of the most amazing hikes of my life, it was time to get back in the van and cross Bryce Canyon Park to get to one of the most amazing point views. One of the most spectacular overlooks in the park, Bryce Point sits at about 8,300 feet of elevation and gives a sweeping panorama over the entire amphitheater filled with hoodoos and cliffs. Funny enough, Bryce Canyon isn't actually a canyon at all. It's a giant natural amphitheater. But the name comes from a Mormon pioneer named Ebenezer Bryce, who settled here in the 1870s. He wasn't a geologist, a park ranger, or an explorer. He was just a quiet carpenter who built roads and helped the little frontier community to survive. His homestead sat right on the rim of this massive amphitheater, and he used to graze cattle nearby. People would ask him what it was like living next to this wild, maze-like landscape, and he gave the most iconic, no-sense answer ever. It's a hell of a place to lose a cow. The name stuck. Locals start calling the area Bryce's Canyon, even though it technically wasn't a canyon. Decades later, when the government protected the land and eventually created a national park, they officially named it Bryce Canyon in his honor. So today, one of the most magical landscapes on earth is named after a cowboy who was just trying to keep track of his cows.
This amazing point views concludes our visit to Bryce. Unfortunately, I feel like I don't want to leave this place. And I found this very nice corner to cook some breakfast right now. So let's enjoy it. And another brunch with a nice view has been accomplished. We got some scrambled eggs, roasted potatoes, cheese, sausage, and this view. Just like that, breakfast is served. Today I'm gonna take you with me to show you what it takes to do this amazing aerial views you've seen of the van driving out these beautiful roads. So this is what I go through every time I do that. Watch this.
We're finally getting to the final and most grandiose of all, Zion National Park. Welcome to Zion National Park, a place where the earth rises in towering sandstone cathedrals, and every curve of the road feels like stepping into a world carved by time itself. Zion has a way of grounding you and expanding you at the same time, a sanctuary of red cliffs, emerald rivers, and some of the most dramatic landscapes in the American Southeast. Located in the southwest corner of Utah, Zion became a national park in 1919 and now welcomes over 5 million visitors every year. But once you're inside these canyon walls, it suddenly feels like you've been invited to something ancient, something sacred, something that was here long before us. As we enter from the east side of the park, we're immediately greeted by one of Zion's most iconic formations, the Checkboard Mesa. This incredible mountain gets its name from the crisscross patterns etched across its surface. The vertical lines you see were created as the sand dunes solidified into rock, while the horizontal lines were formed much later as winter freeze-thaw cycles slowly cracked the surface layer by layer. Like nature carved a gigantic sandstone chessboard right onto the hillside. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Checkboard Mesa is over 245 million years old, made of Navajo sandstone, the remains of an ancient desert of towering sand dunes.
So we just got to Zion and we're supposed to go through a very tight tunnel. And I was afraid my camera was sticking out too far. So I went back there, shortened a little bit of the stick. Now I'm checking if it's the same height of the van. Should be about the same height of the van. Let's see, using the camera to compare. What do you guys think? All right, let's pray that the camera stays there put so I can get a good video of this tunnel for you all. Nerve-wracking.
National Park, they literally stop your vehicle at the gate, and you cannot have a vehicle taller than 13 feet and 1 inch. It would not fit through the tunnel at all. The clearance of the tunnel is about 11 feet 4 inches, and vehicles at that height or above this, they'll have to take a special escort permit. So they drive through the middle of the tunnel to make it through. But those taller than 13 feet are prohibited from entering. And just as I thought I was done with the tunnel, that was just the appetizer. Because this, coming up right here, is the main dish. So I thought the other tunnel was too easy. I think this is the one that is super tiny. As we approach the most remarkable passage of Zion National Park, going through this solid rock, we're about to drive through one of the most iconic accomplishments. It's called the Zion Mount Carmel Tunnel. And I was literally holding my breath to see what was gonna happen with the camera I left sticking out back of the van. To the tunnel, and I'm gonna take you all the way through, seeing all its curious windows and how long it is. This wasn't just another road project, it was a visionary. The construction began in 1927, long before modern machinery and GPS, when crews used drilling and blasting techniques to carve a road deep through the sandstone cliffs. After 3 years of back-breaking work, the tunnel was completed and dedicated on July 4th in 1930. At 5,613 feet long, about 1.1 miles, it was the longest non-urban vehicular tunnel in the United States at the time of its completion. And it still holds the record as the longest tunnel in any U.S. national park. What makes this drive even more breathtaking are the 6 gallery windows carved into the canyon wall. Little openings blasted into the rock to let daylight and fresh air in, and to offer drivers sudden dramatic glimpses of the canyon outside. Once you emerge on the other side, it's like the curtains of the theater opens up, and wow! You're greeted by a completely different landscape. A reminder that this park connects worlds, both geologically and historically. Now these are the Zion Switchbacks, a winding descent that feels like you're slowly being lowered into the heart of the canyon. Every turn opens up a new view. Towering sandstone walls glowing in the sun, layers of red and gold folding into each other like a giant natural staircase. Driving through this today, it's hard to imagine that this road was blasted and chiseled into rock nearly a century ago. Engineered long before modern technology, yet somehow perfectly designed to reveal Zion's beauty one curve at a time. What an impressive drive here at Zion. Definitely finishing the Mighty 5 in grand style. Holy cow. So we just got to the visitor center here at Zion. I want to check a few things about the trails that I want to do, especially with the dark clouds above here. And a lot of them are very dangerous with rain and flash floods. So let's get in there, get information, and see where we head next. All right, you guys, you need to make time to visit the store at Zion because there is such a massive variety of items and things to purchase. This is so dangerous. I'll definitely say this is the Disney of all national parks. You know, you finish the ride and you are right into the shopping store. Well, you finish the Mighty Five, and here you have the best place to take your memories home. Right outside the visitor center, you can find this replica of what the Narrows is. The Narrows is the most famous hike where you hike through this canyon, but on a river, in a bed of rocks. So stay tuned, because this is how we're gonna finish the season, and I'll have this entire hike on the next episode for you. So stay tuned.
This is quite overwhelming. There is so much to do here. And my choices are, I think I'm gonna do the canyon overlook right now for the end of the day. The tough part is the entire drive we did from the east entrance. I think that's east entrance. Whatever entrance that was. I need to go back all the way up in there for the hike. But anyways, if I do it tomorrow, I'm gonna have to do the same way because I leave through this end of the park. So we're gonna have to drive all the way back up in there and back down. They have the Narrows closed. So sorry, there's bugs flying in my face. So hoping that tomorrow they will open the Narrows, and she recommended I do first thing in the morning because of weather. That's the one that is very dangerous with weather because of flash floods. And I already have a plan B to go see the Emerald Pool, but she gave me a different hike to get there. She said it's a lot more beautiful, more things to see than the regular Emerald Pool hike. So let's go tackle this map. And as I thought, you cannot... I don't know where my car is. As I thought, you cannot drive your car inside the park right now. They have the shuttles going on. I do not want to use the shuttle system. So my plan is to rent the bike tomorrow. So the bike trail we're going to do today, we're going to save it for tomorrow to do with the rental all in one day. Now let's find the car because I can't find where the parking is. This place is massive. Of course, I was too excited to get to the visitor center, and I parked the van in this massive parking lot, and I have no clue where the van is right now. Great. So I guess that's my hike for the night. First, I cannot find the parking lot. Now I cannot find the van. Fantastic. Thank goodness for Apple Tag. I have Apple tagging some of the stuff that is in the van. So I did the Find My on the Apple phone and it's directing me to the van. Yes! So tomorrow we're gonna have an e-bike to go through the park, and I cannot recommend enough for you guys to come to Zion Peddlers. They were very helpful and sweet, letting me sign everything off tonight, get the helmet with me. This way I can have the bike tomorrow morning early before they open so we can hit the ground in that park rolling. All right, now let's get to the hike.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Besides Angel's Landing, which is the most dangerous hike in the US and one of the most famous here in Zion National Park, one of the most iconic and rewarding hikes is the Canyon Overlook Trail. And the best part? You don't have to go far to earn one of the park's most breathtaking views, and you don't need a permit for it. This trail is located just east of the Zion Mount Carmel tunnel we crossed earlier, making it one of the most accessible hikes on the park, and one of the most popular. The Canyon Overlook Trail is about 1 mile round trip, with roughly 160 feet of elevation gain. It's considered moderate, mostly because of uneven terrain, rocky steps, and exposed drop-offs. But the effort is absolutely worth it. Most hikers complete it in 30 to 60 minutes, making it a perfect short hike if you're limited on time or want a big payoff without a long track. As you hike, the trail weaves along slick rock ledges and narrow passages, hugging the canyon walls. In a few sections, handrails have been installed, a reminder that while this hike is short, it demands your attention. There is very little shade here, so sun protection is essential, especially during warmer months. And while the trail is family friendly, it's not ideal for anyone uncomfortable with heights, as you can see. At the overlook, you're standing high above Pine Creek Canyon, with sweeping views of Zion Lower Canyon, massive Navajo sandstone cliffs, and the winding road you just traveled through moments ago. From the vantage point, you can truly appreciate how Zion was carved, layer by layer, by wind, water, and time over hundreds of millions of years. And this is the perfect start to explore this park. This overlook gives you a front row seat to the park's geology, where ancient sand dunes hardened into stone and were slowly sculpted into the dramatic landscape we see today.
And we made it to the top. This is absolutely stunning. Oh, chipmunk. Hi, chipmunk. They are so brave. Like, they are climbing the peaks, the highs, the lows. They go down the hills. I want to have a chipmunk life on the next time. This is just so beautiful. During this climb, I was remembering a story from when I was a kid, that me and my cousins would go on the beach. And in Brazil, the beaches kind of are divided by mountains in between one and another. And I remember we would go for a walk on the beach, and our uncles didn't know, but we would go all the way to the mountain, the rocks on the other side, and we would climb and try to get to the other beach. And that was our wild adventure back in there. Right, Fabi and Bruno? Miss you guys. So for some reason, the rocks here, like climbing and going around them to get to the other side, really brought me back to that childhood memory. And it reminded me, I have this in me since I was little. It was just dormant for a while I lived in a city of skyrocket buildings, and then in Florida, until I discover all the national parks. So I really hope this season is inspiring you to get out there, to get the courage, to do it alone, to get outside your comfort zone, and to come explore our beautiful nature here in the US, because it's just, I've been telling this to myself when I enter the parks, it's a beauty that slaps you hard on the face. And Zion is definitely another one that slapped me right when I came in, as you saw on all those drives. So let's head down. This is hike number 1 of Zion, and we have a couple more to accomplish. So let's see how they go. So I was exploring out here, and I found the windows of the tunnel that we drove inside. Look how cool. That's awesome. See the cars there? So that tunnel we drove is all the way through inside this part of the mountain. That is so cool. So this is another reason I much rather have a small camper van versus a nice roomy RV, because a camper van, you can mostly fit anywhere a regular car would. Like, I snuck this corner spot right here when I came in. If it was an RV, I wouldn't be able to do it. 10 out of 10 recommend.
We have arrived in our campsite and it is packed. I'm gonna show you around. So let's check outside and let's see if we can still reheat that pizza. That was delicious from last episode. And eat outside while there's still some light.
We have a fire pit and a grill, picnic table, full hookup and water if needed. Of course we don't. But yeah, can you see it is jam-packed. And this is dinner for tonight, everyone.
After a day filled with heights, narrow roads, switchbacks, and moments that pushed me way outside my comfort zone, I find myself right here. By the river, leftover pizza, a bottle of wine, and the kind of quiet you don't realize you've been craving until it finds you. Solo campervan travel can feel intimidating from the outside, but what people don't talk about enough is the peace it brings. The way adventure and stillness somehow coexist. The places you discover when you slow down, the people you meet when you least expect it, and the experiences you live with not just memories, but confidence, clarity, and a deeper trust in yourself. This journey through Utah's Mighty Five has changed me, inspired me, and reminded me that doing life solo doesn't mean doing it alone. It means choosing yourself. It means listening to your own rhythm. It means learning that fear and freedom can exist at the same time.
Good morning, everyone. Just got here to the bike rental place that is closed, but they told me my bike would be here. It has my name on it. And then I just parked the van back in there and praying for good weather for Narrows. Let's see, I'm very well prepared. I packed double food of everything, triple water, got a nice warm jacket. Not sure how I'm gonna carry all of this through this hike, so let's see how this is gonna go.
Tip I can give you to explore Zion National Park is to rent an e-bike. The shuttle service is the only way to get around in the park. Cars are not allowed to drive in, and you can wait around an hour to get in a shuttle, and it makes every single stop in the park. With the e-bike, you can get into the park. Just be attentive of the areas you need to walk your bike versus riding. But once you're through the gate, there's the beautiful Parou's Trail, which is one of the best way to start your day in Zion. We first made a stop at the visitor center to check what were the safe conditions to be able to do the Narrows, and I strongly recommend you do that too. Talk to a ranger first. And notice, there will be a line of people waiting for when the visitor center opens. The answers I got from the ranger was not exactly what I wanted to hear. There is a possibility of flash floods today, and she was explaining me some other options I could explore, or if I wanted to take the risk, what were the things I needed to look for to be safe. But once you are inside a canyon with no way to get out, that can be extremely dangerous in the case of a flash flood. But first we'll explore the Perus Trail, and you should definitely take this route to get into Zion too. Perus means bubbling water, and you can hear and see it everywhere. The Virgin River is flowing beside, underneath you, and reminds you that not every adventure has to be hard to be powerful. This trail doesn't demand strength or bravery. You can walk, bike, and you even find wheelchairs exploring it. It invites you to slow down, to breathe, to notice the towering cliffs above you, and they are so impressive, and how small yet grounded you feel beneath them. Sometimes the most meaningful paths aren't the ones that test your limits. They're the ones that remind you why you started exploring in the first place. And I really enjoyed exploring this trail on an e-bike to start the day. The trail comes to an end at the Zion Canyon Scenic Drive, where the shuttle buses drive along, so you gotta be careful and pull over when they need to pass. And what an amazing and long ride this was until the Narrows. I was also freezing in the morning, so please make sure you bring your jacket. I gave up on mine before the bike ride. To get to the Narrows, you're going all the way to the end of this road to stop number 9, Temple of Sinawaba. So let's speed up and get there. Morning.
We got to the Temple of Sinawaba to start the hike for the Narrows. And the bike ride up to here, it was freezing. I definitely need to add to my tools of hiking a nice light and warm jacket. That's on the list. The one I have was too bulky, too heavy, and I decided not to bring it. All right, let's take this walk and see what we find out there.
At the very top of the trail, you start finding flash flood warnings. Again, this is not something to be ignored. Something good to know is there is a 45-minute hike until you get to the Narrows hike itself. And at the top of the hike, there is a sign letting you know what are the chances of floods for the day. Besides getting the news at the visitor center, we confirmed as soon as we got to the entrance of this initial trail that we were on the possible end. And I decided to try to get to the head of the trail to see what the conditions will be. Things you need to be aware and be looking for is how quickly the clouds are forming above the canyon. If that is the case, remember, turning around and walking back will take you as long as it took you to get there, and walking through the river and balancing on those rocks is not as easy as you think. So keep that in mind, analyze the weather, And if you see murky waters or pieces of trees and things coming down the water, that's another indicator that rainwater is coming down. If you see that, turn around and go back fast. And I had to stop here to observe what they call the weeping rock. Water of the rain will seep through this mountain and it will be crying those waters. It was something very impressive to see and another sign that there was some water up in there indeed. And now that 45 minutes has passed for me, definitely not for you all. I checked what the conditions were when I arrived in the water and I decided I was gonna go for a bit.
Alright, you guys, I just want to say that this is so much fun to do. Even if you just do a little bit, it doesn't matter. It's the experience. It's not how far you go. It's just, I feel like a kid in a playground. This is awesome. Look at this. Let's keep on going.
I gotta say, people underestimate how hard this hike is. When you step into the rocks, they're all covered in slimy. So not only they're very slippery, but they also shift in position and some of them like drops when you step on them. I had ordered what I thought a pair of sticks to do this hike, but only one came in and I survived with one, but I strongly recommend you bring 2 walking sticks for this.
This can be very tricky because sometimes you're looking down to choose where you're gonna put your foot down, and there's like river rapids water and it kind of trips you looking down, like you get dizzy. And some walks are really slippery and wobbly, and that's how I felt back there. Look at this.
In the middle of almost falling in the water, crossing deep rivers, struggling to get through, the towering views and amazing waterfalls and just the colors of the nature, this deep orange against this turquoise water. The playground of going through these rocks, this experience gets me emotional. It was one of the most amazing things I have done. I am so proud of myself for having the bravery of doing these experiences even alone. And alone is when I discovered this strength within me, this force, but much more than that, the beauty of knowing myself and getting into some of these most magical adventures. And if I haven't thought I haven't seen beauty enough, then this happens.
Mama's here and baby's here. Can't believe this is happening.
is why I preach to you in this channel. Wait for nobody. You are alive, you are healthy. Get out there, go experience this world. You never know what are the amazing magical experiences waiting for you. I have crossed with so many incredible people, learned so many stories, and experienced these things that you don't even expect to. So I cannot tell you enough how important it is. Don't wait for courage. Take the leap. Dive into that water. Step into that rocky rock. That's the only path that will bring you to live fully. I have decided this right here will be my turning around point. It's getting pretty tired. It's just beautiful. And we did way more than I thought we were gonna be able to accomplish. So gonna sit down, get a little snack, and then head all the way back. This is absolutely stunning, everyone. This hike here at Narrows today definitely taught some life lessons, reflections today. Not always the short path is the best path. Sometimes that's where all the turmoil is gonna be, and it's gonna sweep you off your feet and make you fall. Sometimes you gotta go the long route where you see calmer waters for you to cross. And I'm not really talking about the hike, but yeah, that totally came from this hike. So take that. I'm gonna take that for my life too. This place is absolutely stunning, inspiring, and what an accomplishment. I was really afraid of entering this hike, especially with the possible flash floods, but the skies are clear right now. So just finished my snack, time to turn around and make it all the way back to explore a little bit more of Zion. Let's go. Conquered the Narrows. We're now on the 45-minute hike back to the start of the trail, but this is just alongside the river. We're done with the river part. It was absolutely amazing. Again, I recommend if you just come, even if you just do 3 steps in the water, spin around and come back. It's worth it. It's about the experience. And what an experience. Now, as you can imagine, this hike will wear you down. I'm not an active hiker, I just hike on my trip, so this definitely used all my energy for the day. Come with me, I'm gonna show you this perfect spot for lunch, relax, and recover. Let's go. So I don't know what happened to my feet. I think I have blisters all over from the wet shoes on the Narrows. I can barely walk. So change of plans. Instead of another hike, we're gonna enjoy some well-deserved lunch here at the lodge. And I'll let you know if I recommend it or not, so stick in.
But first, I really need a pair of socks.
Yes. Yes. So this is gonna be painful. Fun.
It definitely looked ugly, but it solved my problem. At the lodge, we have the Castle Dome Cafe. And picture this as your basic pre-made sandwiches, refrigerated, or pre-made hot meal that is like wrapped and just served in there. It's not freshly made. But after all the hiking and exercising and this being the only option of food inside the park, I'll tell you, it's worth it.
So picnic in the grass it is, with a good old cheeseburger and fries. But look at this view.
If I was starving or exhausted or both, but that was delicious at that moment. Before I headed back, I passed out on the grass, and I guess I was not the only one.
So we have arrived at the Zion Hot Springs. I'm gonna show you all pretty soon. But this is the moment to say goodbye to our problematic camper van of the season. That everything was broken, that nothing was working properly. You need to watch the full season to see why I do not recommend renting campers with indie campers anymore. Very, very bad experience. I'll keep you all posted if they take care of anything properly afterwards. But now it's time to clean the van, pack everything up so I can enjoy the hot springs, relax. Because 5 national parks in 5 days. More than one hike, sometimes 3 hikes a day. It has been absolutely insane and amazing going through the limits of my body, the limits of my courage. Thank goodness for all the awesome animal encounters that we had. I'm just so excited. So let's start packing. I'm gonna take you with me in this process, and then I'm gonna show you this amazing hot springs right beside Zion. Definitely a must, especially if you hike 5 hours of Narrows like I did. Strongly recommend it. Let's go.
Since tomorrow is returning the van day, I decided to do all the hard work of packing and organizing before I go relax in the springs, because I know I'm gonna pass out after that. Just 30 minutes from Zion National Park, there is this brand new $60 million hot springs resort that just opened. And most people have no idea what's actually back in here, so I'm about to show you that. You see, they weren't shy of investing part of that $60 million in cool things like the smart wristbands you get that are your locker keys, payment method, and access pass. Zion Canyon Hot Springs has 2 ways to soak. One for families and all ages, and one that is strictly adults only. In the general area, everyone has access to it, and they have different pricing running from about $50 to $60 depending on the season and day of the week, and kids ages 3 to 12 pay a bit cheaper. This standard entry gets you a few hours to explore these family pools I'm showing you around this area, but you certainly can upgrade to an all-day pass if you want to stretch your stay. They provide you with pool towels, and there's a map for you to check what pools you want to go and maybe check mark all of them. natural area, besides the multiple mineral hot springs, you can also find a cold plunge, a sauna, and a very large freshwater pool. But my favorite part I'm about to show you back in here right now. This is what we're talking about in here. This is the premier access. And for just a little bit more, ranging from 57 to 72, depending on the time of the day and the week, this is absolutely worth it. This section is exclusively for guests 21 years and older. No teens or kids running around. The area includes a full bar with beer, wine, cocktails, and a more relaxed spa-like atmosphere. There's so many cool lounging areas like the fire pit, right by the cold plunge, and I love how the saunas is strategically placed right outside of it. And how amazing it is that all these pools have different temperatures, different minerals acting in it, different benefits for your body and skin. But the real benefit here is to your mind, relaxing with this backdrop of the desert here in Zion. I cannot stress enough how this experience is much needed after all your hikes and exerting your body in the parks. Each of the hot springs pools is inspired in a specific location. Their temperature ranges about 90 to 104 degrees, ideal for muscle recovery after hikes in Zion National Park.
I was not expecting that. It's rocks in the bottom. Oh, it feels so good. And this is one of my favorite hikes of the season, Fiery Furnace. And now this is a hot spring. So good.
I'm gonna leave a playlist of the season at the end of this video, so if you're curious about any of these cool memories I'm sharing here, make sure to click in which one you want to see at the end. One of my favorites was the Dead Sea. The salinity of the water is about 34% compared to regular ocean water. And because the water is so salty, it's also much denser. And denser water pushes your body upward more strongly, so instead of sinking, you float instantly and effortlessly. And I promise you, this is one of the pools you will never want to live.
Time to try a cold plunge after being in 100-degree water. And this is 45 degrees. Let's do this. I feel needles in my body.
And after putting my phone down, I had to try it again and see if I could hold it a little longer in there. And I guess 5 seconds and 1 millisecond was my record of holding myself down in this cold plunge. Let me know in the comments below, have you done a cold plunge before and what did you think? All I could feel were the needles in my body, but weirdly, it was so satisfying. Next, it was time to enjoy the sauna, but since there were people there, I didn't record anything for their privacy. It was absolutely the perfect way to finish this day in Zion. I could not resist but extend my stay and enjoy a little bit of the night, so I had to change my plans for where to sleep with the van, but I'm definitely glad I did.
Good morning, everyone. It is 6 o'clock in the morning. It's the day to return the van. We didn't make it to our campsite last night after the amazing hot springs in Zion. So I found a Walmart on the way. Good old Walmart boondocking tonight. Thank goodness everything went fine. So now we're headed back to Las Vegas to wrap up the season. Are you ready? Let's go.
And sunrises are even beautiful in a Walmart parking lot. Solo campervan travel reminds me that doing things alone doesn't mean being lonely. It means becoming stronger, braver, and more connected to who you really are. Returning the van always comes with tears because you don't just give back keys, you say goodbye to a version of yourself that lived fully. I'm always transformed by these journeys, but this season changed me the most. So tell me, do you think I'll give up my corporate job, build my own van, and live this life for real? I want to hear what you think in the comments below. And now let's end this season with a cherry on top. Come backstage with me to the most exciting show in Las Vegas, the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere.
Fala oi, oi gente.
Oi, gente.
Oi, gente.
Oi, gente. Whatever.
Esse é o maior momento 360 da minha vida. Pra quem me conhece, sabe que eu aprendi inglês cantando as músicas dos Backstreet Boys. Sabe que eu era a maior fã deles no Brasil. Sempre sonhei em conhecer eles. Sempre disse que não seria impossível, que eu ia vir para os Estados Unidos, que eu ia morar aqui. E hoje é o momento mais 360. Mom is not understanding a word of what I'm saying. Don't worry, Mom, it's all good things.
Oh, I'm sure.
E hoje eu tô aqui com a minha mãe americana, mãe do AJ, eu sou Alex, vocês conhecem como AJ. E estamos aqui curtindo o show na esfera. Que momento 360 mais louco da minha vida. Então eu digo a você aí que tá sonhando com o sonho mais impossível da sua vida, nada é impossível. Não deixe a galera te dizer que, imagina, isso nunca vai acontecer. Você não sabe do poder que você e a sua fé têm. Agora vamos curtir esse show.
Denise, my American mom, has been the best gift I've got since I moved from Brazil to this country by myself. She's been there for me in the toughest moments, in the happiest ones. We shared everything. She's my ride or die, my best partner in crime. And Mom, I am forever grateful for Alex to have brought us to each other in our lives. And I owe to you all this courage, accomplishments, and this amazing life I found here in the USA. Thank you for taking me as your daughter. Thank you for all your love and encouragement. I love you. And there was no better way to end this trip than celebrating my American mom's birthday in the way that it brought me to her after all.
It is someone's birthday tonight.
I wonder whose birthday
It is my mom's birthday tonight. She's here. Mama D! Mama Denise! Love you and happy birthday. Let's wish my mom a happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Mom!
Denise, we love you! Happy birthday, dear mommy! Happy birthday to you! Look, you're one!
Happy birthday!
Okay, someone needs to grab this. It's hurting my arm.
After some amazing memories and reminding myself that nothing is impossible, it was time to spend some good mom and daughter time and recovery from the pains of my trip. This season wasn't just about traveling alone. It was about facing fear head on. Solo hikes, long roads, mechanical worries, quiet nights in a camper van, and choosing myself every single time. Along the way, I met some of the most incredible women in the season, and each with stories of courage, reinvention, and strength that reminded me that what's possible when you listen to the inner voice calling you forward. This place has changed me, but the people, the challenges, and the moments in between completely transformed me. If the season empowered me, I hope it empowered you too. Not just to travel, but to live differently, more intentionally, more bravely. And if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe, and I invite you to go back on every episode of this season. I'm gonna leave the list right up in here for you at the end. Not just for travel inspiration, but to let it move you to create a life that feels more like yours. More like you, the you that you don't know yet. The you that you will meet when you take these steps that will transform your life. And this is my invitation for you in this channel. And if you are a female solo traveler or an aspiring one, I'm putting together a trip that will be called Solo Together, where I'm gonna cater to a small group of females for us to live the experience of our lives. Teaching you all the tricks I have under my sleeves for these trips, as well as doing some deep reflecting moments together. And if you're interested in joining, scan the QR code on your screen and answer the questionnaire. Only the people who do this will be considered. And let's meet and have a drink online next Sunday when we do a live reviewing the season and answering all your questions. I'll see you there, adventurers.